friends. Have you ever had a day when everything just seems to be going wrong and nothing goes right? No matter what you do, nothing seems to work. I've had days like that before, and sometimes it makes me feel like I just want to go right back to bed. This is a story about a boy named Alexander who has the worst day you could ever imagine. It is so bad that the name of this book is Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. It was written by Judith Vorst. Bad things start happening to Alexander before he even gets up for the day. What I want you to do as I read is I want you to be thinking about Alexander's day. And if you really think it's that bad, I'm going to show you the first page, but what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to think about what Alexander's room looks like. I'm going to give you some details about what his room looks like. So I'm going to cover up this first page so you can just see the words and not the picture. And I want you to visualize in your mind what you think the illustrator might have drawn. Pay attention to everything that the author mentioned, and when you have the picture in your mind, I'll show you how the illustrator really drew the picture. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. So let's think about the facts that I read to you. Alexander had gum in his hair, a skateboard, and a sweater in the sink. So you should have pictured all of those things when you were thinking about what Alexander's room looked like. Let's make sure you get a clear picture in your mind, and I'm going to show you what the illustrator, Ray Cruz, actually drew for Alexander's room. You ready to see? Oh, wow, look. Here's the skateboard, Alexander's messy hair, and his sweater in his sink. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car in his breakfast cereal box, and Nick found a Junior Undercover Agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. Australia is many, many thousands of miles from here on the other side of the world. It's about as far as you can get from where we are right now. Why do you think Alexander wants to move to Australia? I think he just wants to get far away from his terrible bad day. I think you're right. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. Why do you think no one paid attention to Alexander when he said he was going to be car sick? Being car sick means that you're going to throw up. Wouldn't you think someone would want to pay attention to him? I think you're right. They probably knew that he was faking it and just trying to get a window seat. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. Now it's time to infer. When we infer, we take facts that we know, we think about them together, and come up with a fact that we didn't know before. Now, the word invisible means something that can't be seen. We know Alexander said he drew an invisible castle. What do you infer might be on the paper he is holding? Yeah, invisible means something that can't be seen. No wonder his teacher didn't like it. It looks like he drew nothing on his paper. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Why do you think he says we don't need the number 16? Why does he say that? Yeah, maybe he's embarrassed that he made a mistake. We really do need the number 16, or counting just doesn't make sense. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend, and I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off and lands in Australia. What do you think Paul thought when Alexander said that mean thing to him? I'm sure that his feelings were hurt. Yeah, that wasn't very nice things for Alexander to say. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Do you think that Alexander's mom left out dessert on purpose? Maybe not. Maybe you'll change your mind after you see this next page. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. Why do you think he says next week he's going to Australia? Yeah, that's because he knows that's when his cavity has to be fixed, and he does not want that cavity to get fixed. He knows that that's going to hurt. Do you still think that Alexander's mom left his dessert out on purpose? Maybe she knew that he was prone to getting cavities. I don't know. Or maybe it was an accident. We're going to go back and we're going to look at all of the horrible things that happened to Alexander so far. We're going to do a summary. When Alexander woke up, he had a lot of horrible things happen to him. Let's think about some things that happened to him. He got gum in his hair. He tripped on his skateboard and he dropped his sweater in the sink. Alexander had no toy in his cereal. He did not get the window in the car. Alexander's teacher did not like his picture or the way that he was participating in class. Alexander's best friend, Paul, said that he wasn't his best friend anymore and called him names. Then at lunch, Alexander had no dessert, and finally he was told that he had a cavity and had to get it fixed. So now that we've had a small summary of everything that's happened to Alexander so far, we call all those things events. Let's think about whether or not we think Alexander has had a very bad day. Think about the events. Do you think Alexander's day has really been that bad? What you're going to do next is you're going to write about Alexander's day so far. You're going to write 2 sentences about if you think Alexander is really having just the worst day ever. It is okay if you would like to write this on a piece of paper and have mom or dad or whoever's helping you at home type it into the box for you after you're finished writing. That is totally fine because I know writing is easier than typing. But I am very interested to hear your opinion about what you think Alexander's day is like. Is he really having the worst day ever? When you're writing your sentences, I want you to think about, who are you writing about? You're writing about Alexander. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about his day? Is he having a really horrible, the most terrible day ever, or is his day really not that bad? And I want to know, why do you feel that way? What reasons could be that he is or is not having a terrible day? So we're going to think about it. Don't forget to write your sentences with who, how do you feel about his day, and why do you feel that way? Now, again, when you're finished writing your sentences on a piece of paper, the person who is helping you with your work can type them into the box so that Mrs. Raymond can see them, okay? Good luck writing your sentences. You guys got this.